There's just something about a slow burn romance, the kind that simmers quietly, lingers in the air, and sneaks up on your heart when you least expect it. Like a look held a moment too long or a feeling you know you shouldn't have, but you can't help holding on to anyways. Today, we're curling up with a debut author who writes that kind of magic so beautifully, an age gap romance with soft tension, aching moments, and the kind of emotional pull that stays with you long after the page. It's tender, a little forbidden, and yes, you will be kicking your feet and staring at the wall after. Consider this your official invitation to curl up and spiral with us as we unpack this retelling of Sense and Sensibility with the amazing author who wrote it. Welcome back, Spill Squad. Do we have a treat for you today? We have wrangled the author of Madly Deeply Always into coming and having a chat with us fangirls. Please join me in
No.
welcoming Jules Starbrook. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Tell us who you are and give us a brief spoiler-free synopsis of your book for the listeners.
Yes, of course. So my name is Jules Starbrook. I am an Australian author, and this is my debut novel, Madly Deeply Always, which you have done a lovely introduction for. Thank you. This book is about a struggling musician called Lily, who is an Australian musician who has just gotten out of a toxic relationship, and she feels quite lost, and she isn't able to play music even after she leaves him. And so she is seeking a mentor, and she reaches out to her late father's friend, Brandon, who was a renowned music manager who lives in England, so he's British, and he invites her to England, and she takes him up on that offer. And the story begins with her traveling to England on this crazy adventure to find herself and to hopefully be able to find her music again. And so this story is about uh, creative block, but also about healing. We discover that Brandon also has his own ghosts, and the story is very much a slow burn because even though they live under the same roof, they both have their own emotional and healing journeys to go through, and they do help each other heal slowly, but not without a bit of drama along the way. So it's full of a lot of yearning, and it's inspired by Sense and Sensibility. So it's a modern inspire. It's not a retelling, but for those who do enjoy Sense and Sensibility, this one is heavily inspired by the film that features Alan Rickman and Kate Winslet, amongst some other wonderful actors. So this was specifically inspired by that couple and just the slow burn ache of that.
That gave me the chills.
Oh,
Gave me the
it's
chills.
so good. I love it.
It was so good. It was so good. I wish I'd read it when you read it, Jace, because we would have been able to talk.
I know. That would have been good. But
That
hey,
would
we
have
got to read it and here we are. So
yes.
let's
I'm
get
so
into
glad you
it.
both enjoyed it.
Let's get it.
Seriously, I
loved
tell
it.
everybody I know
Loved
right
it.
now to read it.
Okay. So I started reading it, and right out of the bloody gate, you've got Lily heading off to Whitstable. I'm from the UK. My hometown is 40 minutes from Whitstable. I went to university in Canterbury, so you made me so homesick. I've lived here for 20 years. Have you traveled around the UK? And if so, what was the most memorable thing you did there?
I haven't traveled around the UK. I did as much research as I could. I'm one of those people who would love to go and visit. So this is me living
Oh my
vicariously
gosh.
through the story and through the character.
Oh
And
my gosh.
even the Harry Potter road trip that gets planned throughout the story, because this story does include Harry Potter references, and a lot of that that Hogwarts nostalgia. Um, this, yeah, this is definitely the book for that.
I love that
Wow.
part.
I'm
It's one of my
blown
favorite parts of the
away. Yes. As soon
Yes,
as
and
I started
Canterbury
reading it,
gets
I
a few
realized,
mentions as well.
yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But something that really made me laugh, like I cackled out loud, we should talk about the parking situation. Like, we live in Calgary, and Calgarians don't understand the trauma of trying to find parking anywhere near your bloody house. So have you ever had parking issues where you live? And what's the funniest thing to have ever happened to you in a car park?
The parking situation is not very exciting here. There's just I live a couple of hours from the city, so there's free parking everywhere. We don't even
Ugh,
have parking meters here. If I drive an hour to the nearest city, then there's these things called parking meters, but they work with credit cards now, so they're not so bad. So no parking dramas for me. But I did appreciate when writing it. I looked at everything that I could,
yeah,
including going through street views of cities and watching these wonderful video tours that people made of Whitstable, walking through it and having a look at the oyster farms via drone footage as
yeah,
well. But yes, all the narrow, winding streets were definitely eye-opening for me. So I know I probably wouldn't be brave enough to drive there, not in my big ute anyway, not in my big pickup truck either.
yeah, yeah. But people don't know that they're actually called utes, and I did know that. I did know that. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because people don't appreciate just how tiny the roads are there. But you talking about the parking situation just cracked me up. But Jace, I don't know if you noticed in the book, they talk about like he wants to go and have a pint of Guinness, but he doesn't like Guinness. Do you know how
Yeah,
long it actually takes to pour one of those?
I don't, because I
It
don't
takes
drink it.
almost 2 minutes. So that right there should have given you every indication that Brandon is a real terrorist, okay? Real terrorist. And were you at that point when she first meets Willoughby? Were you Team Brandon or Team Willoughby?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I think I was a little bit Team Willoughby.
Yeah,
I'm not
so was I.
anymore.
No.
I hope
Oh,
he does not get a
so many
redemption
people
arc.
So many people were against poor Willoughby. I mean, it's not a true love triangle in that sense. So for people who hate love triangles, I mean, I would say I would never go out of my way to write a love triangle, but I was following Sense and Sensibility by Jane
Yeah.
Austen, where the main character in that does fall in love with another man initially. It's not cheating, she just falls for someone else first. My story handled that differently in this modern take, but she is certainly she's not even looking for romance at that stage, but she does start to grow close towards another character. So lots of yearning from Brandon, our male lead, as he is giving her the space to heal.
Mhm.
But she's also noticing, hey, there's this other person who is just lavishing me with encouragement, which is so different it's the complete opposite in a sense to the toxic ex that she had who always criticized her. And so there's a lot for her to discover on what you should look for in a romantic partner or what she needs, personally.
I
For
love it. Your
sure.
your book centers around a musician whose mojo has disappeared after grief and ending a relationship. Do you have any musical talents yourself? And who's your favorite band?
Okay, I have attempted to play a few instruments, by which I mean I've spent years playing instruments, especially as a teenager. And I discovered eventually after a while that this just isn't my thing. I just was not progressing. I didn't enjoy practicing. I was still just strumming the same chords over and over on the guitar and playing the same songs from the kids' books on the piano. And I realized, hey, this isn't my thing. But writing, I can do that morning to night. I can push these crazy 50-hour weeks with it. And I still love it. It doesn't feel like work. And I gave myself permission finally to let go of that part of myself that saw myself as becoming a musician. So no, I'm not a musician, and my musical tastes vary significantly, like a lot. Like it could be anything from Disney to Linkin Park. Like I love it all. But I love a bit of teenage angst, and I'm glad I was able to work in a little bit of that early 2000s, late 90s sort of
Yes, that's
punk
my
rock
vibe.
into it.
What is your
Yeah.
go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, again, probably something from those genres. Maybe Kryptonite.
That's a good
Oh,
one.
I love that
Good one.
one.
Good
That's a
one.
good one.
Save the
Driving down
world.
the highway with your windows down.
That's it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Not worried about parking at the end of the road.
I've got
It's so
easy parking too.
it's funny because we here, no one can really hear what's going on in your cars, but in the UK, you can guarantee everyone can hear it.
Oh,
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cramped.
You went with a quintessential slow burn for this book. What made you decide to let the tense simmer at the surface instead of giving us balls to the walls passion? Not that I'm
Well,
complaining.
well, I didn't want it to be insta love for one, and the book ended up being a little bit longer than I had intended it to be because I just followed the characters. You know, writers often find that the characters will take on a life of their own. And I felt that with the story that I was following in terms of the Sense and Sensibility inspiration as well, there were certain targets, I suppose, that I was trying to meet. And there was certain parts of the story that I didn't want to rush as well. I did my best. At one point, we get a little montage where we sort of scroll through a few months, and I felt like a cheater because it's not the sort of thing that I do. Like, I could write an entire book about a dinner conversation. So for me to be able to fit, I think over 6 months into one book, felt like an achievement for me.
Good. Did great.
You really did do great. Like, you did an amazing job of it. I'm not much for slow burns. I'm one of those people that I am kind of fond of insta love, but I did enjoy the way Sensibility progressed. And I think you did a really good job of keeping it unique enough, but sticking to the story that it felt familiar, but it felt different. So I was
Thank
really
you.
impressed with the way you wrote that. So you should really be proud of yourself. Now,
Thank you.
something I do not like, as you've already mentioned, love triangles. I It's just not my jam. It's probably my least favorite. But you made it 10 times worse for me when Brandon bought that guitar bag for Lily because you just had my head spinning. I thought it was really clever too how you used Brandon as like the grumpy and Willoughby as kind of like the sunnier one. So what made you decide to use this trope in that way? And what one trope do you think should be banned from literature?
Hmm. Okay. Um, Grumpy Sunshine. Well, I didn't really think of Brandon so much as grumpy, but of course it's open to reader interpretation. He would be it would be closest to the Grumpy Sunshine dynamic, and then it depends on how you visualize the character, but certainly very, very calm, and that's just his character is very much inspired by Alan Rickman's portrayal of Brandon in Sense and Sensibility, and I remember
Yeah.
watching that film and feeling a bit down and thinking I just need a comfort read, but something that is just full of yearning. Like I still wanted that yearning you can sometimes get in a fantasy romance, but I just wanted it in a modern setting. And so I set out to write write something like that. And I was watching this film and I was watching Alan Rickman and him just aching for, well, yearning for Marion. Like he falls in love with her, but he also, when she wants somebody else, he doesn't abandon her. He actually continues to stay by her side, by the family's side, and continues to be a supportive presence. And whenever she needs him, he shows up. And this story allowed me to have more opportunities where she Lillian actually goes through Whitstable and goes through her journey emotionally and with her music. And
Yeah.
inevitably there are moments where she does need him that unfold naturally and he is there for her. Like if she calls, then he will pick up the phone and he will be there. And she begins to notice. She she does notice that he is there, but she begins to see him more romantically as the story progresses.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. You asked me which trope should be bad. Well, I don't think any trope should be banned per se. But there are certainly some tropes I enjoy more than others. So
What's
What's
your
one of
yearning,
your
least
least
right,
favorite?
favorites?
yearning. Least favorites would be Istala. I would say a love triangle, even though I wrote one sort of in this one. So it was fun to explore for that reason.
Yeah, I
I love it.
bet. Me and Jace, it's always enemies to lovers. It's like one of those things because it's never truly enemies. It's kind of like you're just
Rival.
annoyed with each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I want
funny.
like a
Everyone's got different
true
choices.
I
I
want a
love
true
the
enemy
tension
to
of
lover
enemies to
dynamic.
lovers. I love the tension of enemies to lovers. So to try to bring in a similar sort of tension without having them enemies was an interesting challenge. But I felt
Yeah,
that
I
once
bet.
I had the world and the characters set up, it just happened.
You nailed it, honestly.
Thank
What
you.
book made you into a reader? And what book inspired you to write your own?
Easily Harry Potter. I read a lot of wonderful books growing up, but Harry Potter was the first series that really made me fall in love with reading. I was no longer reading because I felt like I was good at it in class. I felt I was reading because I enjoyed it because I just had to. It was like breathing, and it was the best part of my day was reading before school or after school. That's
I love
going
it.
back quite a few years now, but throughout the years, I mean that the love of that world has persisted, that nostalgia. And that's a big reason why I wanted to purposefully incorporate some of that nostalgia into these books. I can't quite remember the decision process between me thinking, hey, I want there to be Harry Potter in this as well. I think it just happened with writing Lillian's sister, Eleanor, because I will be writing a sequel to this, which follows Eleanor's journey, and that's a similar slow burn romance full of yearning. But Eleanor is, I did take Jane Austen's Eleanor, and I looked at character studies and I looked at the core of what she is, because on the surface she's a very, very calm person who just observes and doesn't dominate the room. And I thought, well, at her core, she is trying to mask how she feels inside. And so I took just that element and I thought, well, what if she disguised it in a different way? And so I have her being actually the most outrageous person in the room, who's always just saying something witty or snarky or ridiculous. And I mean, I think for her, because she is actually a lawyer, it's a completely different part of her. She gets to be one person at work, very professional, and then when she comes to Whitstable, she is very very much the life of the room, and she would just say anything except what is truly on her mind and what she's truly feeling.
I love
Fair.
that.
Yeah,
Is
and
it
so she
Harry
uses
Potter that
Harry Potter to mask all that.
I
Oh, it's
loved that part about the book. Not that she was masking her pain, but just the Harry Potter references littered everywhere.
And
I
always
love it.
sorting
We're both
everybody into
really big
houses.
Potterheads, so yeah. I've got
I
Harry
love
Potter
that.
pillows back there. Can you see them?
Oh
I know
yeah,
you're a big pothead too.
I've got this
me too.
blanket.
I've got my t-shirt on. I'm
I love
dressed
it.
easily.
I had mine on earlier too, but I spilt food down it. I'm not very clean.
Did
So
you
did it?
spill the tea?
No, I never spilled a tea on
Never, never
myself.
spill the tea. Not on this channel.
No,
We don't spell tea,
never.
just
All over my desk sometimes, yes. So did Harry Potter get you into writing as well? Is that what started your journey for writing?
Actually, no, because I have these wonderful memories. The earliest being me getting these A4 sheets of paper and having my mum staple them together, and I illustrated each page with a scene from Bambi. And then I dictated to
Aw.
my mom what I wanted her to write. I couldn't even dictate. I had to explain to her what I wanted, and she wrote it. And I couldn't read, so I had to trust that she was writing the right thing. But by the end, I had this A4 stapled sheet, anyway, this book about Bambi. So that's where it started. And then the sequel to that, if anyone's interested, was Mickey Mouse and the Beanstalk. So
Aw. I love it. That's
Oh,
so
it started
wholesome.
early. It started early.
It's
so
amazing.
cute.
I
I
didn't
love
write. I didn't finish a book until recently, though, because I became very critical of myself once I reached. I was still trying when I was about 16. I had another spurt where I attempted to write a book, and I just couldn't. I always bogged down after the first few chapters, and then when I got when I reached 30, my husband suggested that I write a book. And I thought, well, okay, I'm going to look into this writing business, but I approached it with a bit more of a, okay, how do you actually write a book? I'd never actually asked before. And there are so many resources online and so many wonderful YouTube videos. And I discovered plotting, which is where you actually outline your story, which
Yep.
it might seem straightforward and obvious, but it never occurred to me to just plan it in advance. I thought you have to like feel it and wing it. And no, you can do plenty of discovery along the way. But yes, it
Oh,
was once
yeah.
I discovered that I could plot and actually figure out what the story is about in advance and all the deeper layers that I was actually able to finish a book. So it's really nice to come back to this passion.
I love it. But with the plotting then, for my next question, did you know how it was gonna end before you started writing? Because I loved the ending of your book. Did you know that that was where it was going, or did that happen while you were writing it?
Oh, I knew there would be a happily ever after. In terms of the epilogues, I knew that I wanted to finish at the beginning of the road trip, partly because by that stage I was a bit exhausted by all the research about Whitstable and England, and I thought I'm not going to dive into a Harry Potter road trip. That's not what this story is about. Um, but it was really nice to have that as a goal. So without giving away any spoilers, um, I knew some elements, but what I will say is I wrote the book beginning to end. I had a complete draft in my hands. And then I thought, okay, this will just need some light editing. This was clean. This was wonderful. And it's not the first book that I finished. And then when I went to reread it, I realized I can do much better than this. And I can figure out the backstories on a much deeper level. So that the ghost that is haunting Brandon is something that wasn't even a part of the first draft. So I think there's a lot to be said for
Oh.
crafting. There's a lot to be said for not just planning your book, but fleshing it out, actually writing it and learning along the way, um, and then coming back and writing a new draft. It'll be
I love
different
it.
for everybody, but that was the process for this book.
That's incredible. Everyone's so different with the way they write. Like
Yeah.
I've interviewed
Mhm.
quite a lot of authors and everybody has a different technique and way of doing things. And it's absolutely amazing to know there's no one right way to do anything.
No, no. You can be a pantser, which is the other term, the opposite of a plotter. And I think for a lot of people, they're somewhere in between. They outline like me, and then they discover things along the way. And actually, writing the prequel to Madly Deeply Always, I don't have it here, but the prequel to this one is only 4 chapters long, and it actually goes through in a little bit more depth the journey that Lily goes through while she's still in Australia and what
Oh.
she goes through with her toxic
Mm.
boyfriend. And
Would have liked to have known
we
that.
and we get the first sparks of love, and we actually find out we get to read about how she actually reached out to Brandon. So we do get a little bit of on-page dialogue with him, but she doesn't actually meet him in person until this book. But writing that story made me realize, whoa, like I need to go back and change this full novel because I had written the first draft and then I thought, okay, I'll write the prequel. And then I realized I learned so much more about the characters and I thought this is going to go way deeper emotionally than I realized. And so that's what I did.
And it
Love
worked out
that.
great. That book hit me so hard in the feels, I can't even.
It did me too. It did me
Right?
as well. It was hard to put down.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's good. That's good.
I think I read it in like 2 days, and then I was like, "Stace, I wanna talk to her for real. We're gonna have her on the podcast."
We have had many conversations about this book. Many, many, many. And it's hard to watch Jace get so excited about a book I haven't read yet. So I felt like I was already behind.
'Cause you were.
Crazy. I was my fault. I didn't know. So I
So you
had
have
a
to jump on the
question.
Hogwarts Express.
Oh, I had to, and I'm not sorry about it, not one little bit. So I had a question. If you could pick any celebrity to narrate your book as an audiobook, who would you pick and why?
Hmm. Well, for Lillian, she was inspired for me by Lily James. I saw her in Downton Abbey and
Oh,
Mamma Mia
yeah.
2, I think. And I thought, well, Lily James, wonderful, but we would need an Australian accent, so there's that. And for Brandon, well, obviously he was inspired heavily by Alan Rickman for me, so I don't think you can beat that voice. But when I was writing him, sometimes there was a little bit more cheekiness coming through, and he he was also inspired for me by J.J. Field, who stars in Austenland and Northanger Abbey.
Yep.
Uh,
I like him.
and then I always think of Jude Law.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
can see
if he's
that.
Oh, yeah,
available, if
I can
he's
see
free,
that.
he's free.
We'll get on that. We'll get
If
on
he has a
that.
younger brother.
What about Willoughby?
Oh, Willoughby. Oh, anyone.
Anyone.
We'll find someone.
Doesn't matter.
Benjamin
No, but
Black days.
interestingly,
Benjamin
like,
Black.
so many people message me saying, like, tearing out their hair, saying that they, hate Willoughby and they hate Toby, and I think I spent time inside their heads, and so, I empathize with them, and maybe that goes into some of my own trauma. Not that I wrote about my own personal experiences, but I did my own personal emotions, certainly, with going through a difficult relationship where you're being manipulated. I
Yep.
found that a lot of readers actually have been through something similar. And but I did get inside their heads. And I think maybe there's a bit of a trauma response there, but I really did empathize with them as well. And so I almost felt like I was defending their actions sometimes. Well, okay, but he does this because X, Y, Z. And the
Yeah.
reader's like, no, he's being horrible to Lily. And I'm like, I know I wrote that he's being horrible and like, I know I've written it correctly, but my own response to it is still
Yeah.
a lot more balanced.
Yeah. I didn't hate him. I could feel that I had a preference and I was rooting. That's all it is. When you're rooting for a certain somebody, you're just like, no, get out of the way.
Well, I made a
Yeah,
couple
exactly.
TikToks saying I wanted to punch him in the throat, and I
Yeah,
stand
you did
by
say
that.
that. You did say that twice.
Sorry.
You got what you wanted.
Well, I
In
mean,
the
I did.
end.
Yeah, I did,
You
and it was
did.
glorious.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
goodness. Yeah,
So,
I'm an avid reader. I read a lot of books. And I get really excited when I get to like meet an author. So this is very cool for me.
Well, I'm
Can
really
you,
excited to be on my first podcast. Thank you.
we're your first one?
Be on my first
wow,
one. My first time.
Amazing! You're my
yeah,
first interview. Stacey's a
We're each
pro, but this
other's
is my
first.
first time.
so
Fantastic.
cool.
I love that. Have you had any like really awesome interactions with readers?
Oh, yes, yes. Some really fun. Like I said, people messaging me saying that they're, screaming at their Kindle. One of my favorite comments was somebody saying that they just had to stand up and walk around the house, um, because they just don't know what to do now. And they messaged me a few days later saying, like, I'm in a reading slump now. I don't, when is your next book coming out? And I said, not until November, but you can pre-order it on Amazon. Um, but the ones that really touched me were people who reached out and who who had gone through grief themselves. Some of their stories were eerily similar to, we had some parallels to what Lily had gone through in losing a parent, in going through a difficult relationship. One person even had someone who had worked on an oyster farm, so there was some
No way.
interesting parallels there. But it was very touching ha- to have those stories shared with me and to know that my story had resonated with them and that it was cathartic. And I'm glad that I was able to write these topics with sensitivity, in a way that didn't make somebody, hurt more. Like I didn't want there to be any, I didn't want there to be any twists in the story that was, and no author wants that, of course, where you feel like you're just doing it for the sake of jerking the reader's emotions around. I wanted it to all be grounded in things that could happen, um, and for them to be resolved in a way that is satisfying. So
Oh, you
I
nailed
love
it.
that.
Nailed it. So, I know this question is going to be a little controversial, and some authors don't like to answer this, but do you read book reviews about your own book?
I'm happy to answer it. I think it's good for other authors to know what other authors do as well, because it's actually mentally very challenging you know, depending on what sort of day you're having, and how much of, you know, I guess fortitude you have, uh, you might be able to brush off a 1-star review, and then the next day, like, you know, a 4-star review might give you, might be difficult for you to process. Like, it might just make you think, what could I have done that is better? But you know, that was an interesting thing to go through and to learn. But I found that I find with other authors as well, like they generally do read the first 100 reviews or so, because that's when the book is debuting and you want to know how it's being received. And I was really
Yeah.
fortunate that this book has been received so well and has been averaging so high on Goodreads. It's quite unbelievable. I know that there are some incredible books out there, and they might do really well on Amazon, but on Goodreads their average is like around 3.8, and that's quite normal even for a really good book. So I'm really
Yeah.
happy to be doing that. This book is doing well. Um, I did pour my heart and soul into it, and when you do that, it can be easy to be sensitive with what is being said. But it's all been
For
largely
sure.
positive, so I've been very fortunate and very interesting to read reviews from some people who have never read or seen any of the Jane Austen inspired works or any of the Jane Austen books.
Right.
Um, and I did write this with the idea that anyone can read it, even if they're not a fan of Jane Austen, even if they've never seen the films, they'll be able to read this and hopefully love it. But of course, it's interesting to hear from the Austenites and to see what they think. And there's
Oh,
been a lot of
yeah.
appreciation for the unique take on Sense and Sensibility as well. I think some people found it refreshing that it's not just it's not a very similar plot line. It's more taking the essence of the characters and then some of the plot events, some of the emotional events that happen, and putting them into a unique story. So if you're looking for like a very close parallel, this isn't it. But I think there could be some very interesting book club conversations about, especially the characters,
Yeah.
how they are similar and how they are different.
Incredible
Absolutely.
answer. Incredible.
I
Yeah.
forgot what the question was now. Just rambled.
You did great.
You
Just asked
did.
about reviews.
Just about the reviews, do you read them? Because I know some say to do it and some say to don't. So it was
Yeah.
interesting to see your take on that.
I'm now at the stage where I will look at the average, not like every day, but like maybe once a week, I'll check the average. And if it's gone up, I'll be like, okay, there's at least a trend of positive. So I will go in and read them. And if it's gone down, then it will, then I won't read them
Well, the
because I'll know there'll be some
two.
negative ones in there. There'll be some
Yeah.
3-star reviews, God forbid. No, but I'm at the stage now where I don't think I'll be checking it more than monthly, and that will, from what others
Oh,
have said, that will branch out even more as time goes on.
that's
Love it.
awesome.
Now, and we post these on Spotify and YouTube. So if you are actually watching the video, I want to take a moment to show off this cover a little more closely. It's stunning. And do I remember correctly that you designed this one yourself, right?
Yes, yes, I designed it. I've got a graphics tablet,
What?
a Cintiq, and so I designed every element. I
Daisy didn't
hand
get
drew,
that.
yeah. So I
What?
hand drew everything on there,
Shut the front
and
door. Did you really?
Guys, it's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's
And I'm just
stunning.
thank you, and of course the back cover.
Oh, man.
It's
You
awesome.
right. You can do art stuff. It sucks. I got no
Yeah,
And
talent.
and
you
this
showed
one is
me.
the special edition here. And this one has gold foil, but one thing that I'm really, I did the sprayed edges as well. But one thing
It's
I'm really
pretty.
enjoying is you've got for example, the castle battlements up here, and I'm adding, rather than just doing solid foil, I'm actually drawing the foil in. So like all those little pixels, there's some gold foil on the flowers themselves as well. So
Love it.
they catch the light, so you end up having foil in on all the elements, but
Take my
it's
money.
not blocky. So I just
Yeah,
I drew on all the foil, and that was really fun because it felt like such a personal touch.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
God.
And then
I'm
you said to me in our chat there on Instagram, you're the one that's going onto Amazon next. Did you design that one too?
The other one
I
was
don't know.
designed by Jay at Simply Defined Art, and she is a
Okay.
wonderful artist. It's a very different style of book cover
It is.
that
It's
is
very different than this,
it's a
but
painting.
it's very pretty too.
So
Still reeling.
mine is drawn in Photoshop, but my style is more line art, and I have a cartoonist background, and so the vector style of art suits it really well. But she is actually a painter, so she has these brushes that are like Photoshop brushes, and she actually paints. So if you want to have a look at it, it is on Kickstarter. Now, it hasn't launched yet. I'll be launching in about maybe end of May, as soon as my copies arrive, because I want to make some videos and actually show them off and show readers what they're getting before I launch it. But oh yeah, she's done a wonderful job. It's incredible.
You're blowing Stacey's mind right now. Look at her
I
face.
can't. I can't. I've got no words. Like my words are gone.
Interview over.
It'll be
Stacey's
the
blown.
same story. It'll be the same story. It will include the prequel, and there'll be two
Oh.
book covers to choose from. So there will be the one that I designed, and there'll be the one that she designed. And
I'm all
When?
about the OG, baby.
When? Where?
so that will be on Kickstarter, and it will be launching probably the end of May.
Okay, we're gonna need the details of that to put with
I need
this
more.
episode.
I need
Sure.
more followers. I'll launch the project when it reaches at least 100 followers. So all
Okay.
you have to do is click notify me on launch, and you will get notified when the project is launching. It's just a way to basically pre-order the book. People can back the project, so they're choosing which book they want, or both if they want them, get both. And then we're trying to reach the target goal, which I will set fairly low for this, so it will fund. And then when it funds, only then do people who have backed the project get charged. And then the book just gets shipped out to you just like it would when you're ordering a book. So it's not complicated. You can just log in on Kickstarter and follow the project along and have a look at the covers, and you'll be notified when it launches, and you can, if you would like to, you can back.
That is so cool. I'd never heard of Kickstarter until another author had mentioned it. And I was like,
Yeah,
that is so neat.
Yeah, it's our way of being able to offer special editions and bring into existence products that you otherwise wouldn't be able to have, because this way people are basically pledging money and saying, well, we want this product, so if you make it, then we will buy it. So you're pledging, but you're not being charged until the project is successful.
So basically, like when we pre-order, because we do that all the time.
Yeah, and it
Not
doesn't show
us.
on
We don't
show on
pre-order.
this book, but I'm going to be signing the back digitally with foil, so we'll have a signature on the back as well. So that will be really fun.
Oh
Just,
my
can you
gosh.
fly out to Canada and then you just sign ours for realsies?
I'm already there. But we have to meet
Yes.
at Whistler. I want to go to Whistler.
Yeah, so
That's not
I'll
that
meet you
far.
there. It's not that far from us.
In the summer, so I'll see you there
Even
soon.
better. Even better. I'm a summer girl.
Yeah, me too. We hate winter. Wow, I'm still absolutely reeling, but I have a question. What obstacles did you face while you were writing this book, and how did you overcome them?
Ooh, okay. Well, I think I dived into the fact that I had written a draft and then had to rewrite it, and I was suddenly under a lot of time pressure. So besides having to suddenly rewrite the book rapidly, and I have two young daughters. One of them is a baby, and so she was sleeping on my lap on a pillow for a lot of this. I struggled a lot with the cover. I actually tried a character art version first, just to test and see what would work, and it just wasn't resonating with people. I found it very challenging to design a book cover that would give you the promise of a modern romance, give you the promise of
Yeah.
Jane Austen without making it look like a historical romance, and then to also give it some of that fantasy magic. And then finally, I remembered that some of my favorite book covers are those vector-based fantasy ones where you've got all the elements around the title. And I knew I wanted the title to really stand out because madly, deeply, always, I just wanted it to be wow. And actually, the cover that Jay designed, I think that really captures um, the perfect cover. I mean, I think this is great, and I think it's doing well on Amazon. I do love this. I do think she did something very special with the other cover. It's just like madly, deeply, always. It's very large. It's handwritten, and you'll have to see, but it's just wonderful because it really does look like a painting, and not like a really neat painting, but like it's kintsugi. So you know the pottery bowl that is
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it's all cracked and it's repaired with the gold lacquer. So
The
that's
gold, yeah.
a theme, a motif in my story. And I asked her to design a cover where it's just breaking apart. You have the pottery that is breaking apart, and she has done a wonderful job with it. So very
It's so
talented artist.
pretty. It's so pretty.
And it has the roses as well. And even the roses are, as the pottery is breaking apart, the petals are coming apart with it as well. And I just thought, it just blew my mind when I saw it. I thought, this is it.
Beautiful. Sorry, I spaced out there for a second. I was just listening to you talk.
I felt the same way we were talking about book covers. I'm like, oh,
It's the accent.
hang on.
It's the accent. And I like how we're tag teaming all the different countries.
I
love
know,
that.
it's so
Like
cool.
an
Well,
accent lover's dream.
Yes, well, I like the cultural references as well because, of course, Lily is Australian, and so when I write in her voice, she calls things the way an Australian would call them with US influence,
Yeah.
and that was fortunate because I still got to use, like when in doubt, I tried to use US words because we will use the US equivalent rather than the British equivalent sometimes. But with Brandon, I was a lot more careful to use the British variation. Like I know when it's Lily's point of view, she calls it a beanie, like a woolen cap.
Yeah.
And from
Yeah.
Brandon's point of view, I called it a hat, and I thought, really, a hat? Like maybe I got that wrong, maybe Google got it wrong, but I thought I wouldn't call that a hat, but okay, woolen hat it is. Um, and yeah,
We call them
it was
Benny
really fun.
hats back home. We call
Yeah,
them Bennies, Benny hats. Yeah.
Pennies. There
Bunny
you
hat?
go. Yeah,
Like a
Yeah.
bunny? Interesting. Apparently, some people in Canada call a hoodie a bunny hug.
What?
there you go.
I know, and I'm like, I don't get that. I call it a hoodie,
It's a hoodie.
And
right? A bunny hug.
then we have
What?
Wellingtons as well. We call them gumboots, and Brandon calls them Wellingtons. And I think US have another name,
Is it like rubber boots?
Canada would have
Yeah,
another
rubber
name,
boots.
rubber boots. And so I was like,
Rubber boots?
Yeah.
Most of my audience is US, so are they even going to get this?
Oh yeah. I knew what you
Well,
were talking about.
yeah, we did. I'm from the UK, so I understand. We just call them wellies. They're just wellies.
Oh, yeah.
It's wellies.
I call
Yeah.
them splash boots to the kids.
It's so funny. We Americanize so much here. It's hilarious.
So it was really fun trying to stay true to the characters as voices, but also to make sure that all of the different audiences, because I have, of course, readers in all the marketplaces, all the countries, but making sure that everyone will understand
Yeah.
the
Awesome.
different terminology.
Well, most people Google if they don't know. I've had to do it.
Well, that's
Be
what I
like,
thought.
what's that again?
I actually found, I'm not sure about readers, but beta readers certainly are more likely to message me to ask what it is, or they'll flag and leave a long comment asking what it is and like sort of discerning. And I think
Really?
a quick Google will tell you, but it's okay. I hope my readers
We
will
have
look
the
it up if they're
internet.
not sure.
Well, especially
That's
on Kindle, because if you tap it, it'll tell you what the word means. I've used that once or twice.
Absolutely. That's a great
I'm a
feature.
bad girl.
I love it.
Yeah, well, you pretty much answered one of the questions I had earlier. We were going to ask you about how much of your plot was planned, but it sounds like you pretty much had the story in your head. Was there any major changes that you had to do other than adding in Nova, right, which is in his head? Was there anything
Mhm.
else that you changed or removed from the book that we didn't get to see?
Ooh. Oh, I removed a lot of scenes. When I rewrote it, I pretty much scrapped the entire first draft. It was like get rid of
Oh,
this,
wow.
get rid of that. I got rid of a lot of it.
Oh.
And I spent a lot of time
Wow.
rewriting the opening chapters over and over and over. So it's thanks to one of my lovely alpha readers, Elaine, that the story doesn't start with Lily washing the dishes because, gosh, that would have been boring. Instead, she's like off, flying overseas. She's at the airport. Yeah, there was a lot that changed. Initially, I had Brandon and Lily just wandering around Whitstable, and their conversation wasn't half as interesting as it needed to be. But that was
Yeah.
the process of, looking back, I can say that. But that was the process of me sort of figuring out the story. I knew it had to be a slow burn, and there had to be yearning, but I guess I always have this sense of wanting to delay the events, and I learned to have the confidence to bring those events in a lot sooner. So Lily meets meets Willoughby a lot sooner in this version than she did in the initial draft. So and that was wonderful. I had some wonderful scenes like the bringing in the red dress, and how Lily actually
Mm.
buys that red dress, I think, is even doing some work for her character then, because initially she comes from a state of mind where her ex has been dictating what she can and cannot wear. Of course, we don't see the ex on page in this story, but that's how it begins.
Goodness for that. What a punk.
Just looking at, I think we've answered the rest of these questions kind of in a roundabout way already. So, do you maybe want to play a little game with us?
Yes, let's do it.
We're going to play a little round, or several rounds actually, of this or that, Harry Potter edition.
This or that.
Yes, we
Let's
are.
do it. Okay.
Stacey and I love to play little games on the podcast. I think we have a new one just about every week.
Every week. We're a nightmare. I love it. Go ahead,
But
Jace.
it's fun.
Go ahead, Jace. You got this.
Okay, rapid fire. Harry Potter or Neville Longbottom?
Neither, but I think Harry's got a lot going on. I think Neville coaxes him out of his shell. Let me be the one who sees him. Yes, I can make
Okay.
that work. Yeah, I can make that work.
All right, Hermione or Luna?
Probably. I like both. Probably Luna.
Okay. Ron or Draco?
Draco.
That was your fastest
That was
answer.
quick as
Not
fuck.
Draco.
I love it.
I'm a Hermione fan, so
Okay. Dumbledore or Voldemort?
Dumbledore. I don't
Okay,
want to be Avada Kedavra.
fair. Which house were you in? I know you told me once, but I don't remember.
Oh, Slytherin for ambition, and because it's just fun. It's fun to be in Slytherin. And I love bottle green. I love emerald green. But quite possibly Ravenclaw for the creativity side
Okay.
of me. Like I can see myself just being introverted and up in Ravenclaw Tower, just writing books and not being as social as I should be.
I love it. I'm a Hufflepuff, and I think Stacey's a Gryffindor, aren't you?
I am indeed.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
I love Hufflepuff, and then with Gryffindor, no matter how many quizzes I took, because I took a few, I always scored like 1% for Gryffindor. So I'm not a Gryffindor at all.
I love that.
Going back to the this or that, we're moving into the school stuff now. So, potions or herbology?
Potions. I want to be. If I've got to do stuff, I want to sit down.
Okay. Hogwarts Express or the Flying Ford Angelia?
Oh, Hogwarts
Anglia.
Express.
What?
Anglia. Ford Anglia.
Whoops.
I have no idea. I had no idea.
The flying car.
The English car.
Well, okay. So, what was your answer? The Hogwarts Express or the flying car?
Oh, the Hogwarts Express. Yeah.
Okay. McGonagall or Snape?
If it's a romance, Snape.
Ooh.
Okay. Invisibility cloak or the Elder Wand?
Invisibility cloak.
Marauder's map or time turner?
Marauder's map.
Owl or cat?
Owl.
Chocolate frogs or the every
Chocolate
flavored
frogs.
beans?
Chocolate frogs.
All right.
Yeah, not the
Diagon Alley
beans.
or Hogsmeade? Diagon Alley or Hogsmeade?
Cool. Bearing in mind, I want to have experienced Diagon Alley, but I want to be chilling in Hogsmeade with a butterbeer.
Oh, that sounds so good. The
Both.
Burrow or the Great Hall? Ugh.
The Great Hall.
Okay. Azkaban or Snape's dungeon?
Snape's sexy dungeon, of course.
Yeah, that's where my brain went to.
No, everybody knows there's a lot of Hermione fans like Draco Malfoy, crossed with Hermione. If Draco's personality was a little bit different, how that would go. But what some Hermione fans eventually discover is that there is another part of the fandom called Snape Mayonnaise, or it has a few different names, but it's Snape cross
Oh no,
Hermione.
really?
I like the ones
What?
obviously where she is of age. There's a wonderful one where
Okay.
she goes back in time and meets young Snape. There's a couple like that. And it's just it's incredible.
Face at your face.
I've never heard of this.
So you think Hermione is the rabbit hole, but you haven't gone deep enough.
Holy bloody not! Oh
I
my
haven't gone
God.
very deep at all. I think the only fanfic I've actually read was Manacled, and that destroyed me for months.
Oh,
Yeah, it
Manacled,
did.
it was incredible. I binged that. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Oof.
Well, I only did Alchemized and it was painful. And now I wished I'd read Manacle instead.
You still haven't read Manacled?
You should read
Can't get
Manacled.
Alchemized that taste out of my mouth yet.
You're missing out.
I'll never forget what happened to the Weasley family. That's all I'm saying. But it just shook me.
Yep.
But
The
it really
twins
made
my
me
favorite.
feel for them and connect with them.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read it. It was just Alchemized wasn't brilliant. I was very disappointed.
Just, use that Stacy brain and forget it. You can do it. And then
It's
read
Etch-a-Sketch.
Manacled.
Shake your head and it's gone. That's me.
I just get head. Shake it out, honey.
It was that. Yeah, I don't know. It was just weird for 300 pages, and I could have done without all 300 of them. Bad.
Take that head. Read Manacled instead.
Fine.
Manacled.
I will read it. I have it. I
And
just haven't got around to it yet.
I'm very careful with how much dark material I read because, especially since having my daughters, I'm a lot more
Yep.
sensitive to topics. Like they will stay with me. It'd be like how you watch a horror film and then it can stay with some people for months.
I
Well,
can't even
the
watch
dark-
horror films anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's so much. I'm triggered by so much now. It's not the
Mhm.
author's fault, but I have to be very conscious of what I read now. And like the Handmaid's Tale, I love that, and obviously Manacled was inspired by that. But I have to be very careful with, okay, do I want to read this because I know that it's like bringing down my sanity meter if I'm watching this.
Mhm.
I have to say that Manacled was completely worth it. So, like
It was.
if you
I
are
agree.
going to read something dark, like this is going to be my thriller or my horror movie for the year, then not that it's horror, but there's some horrific things that happen in it. But it's a very long book. It's basically a trilogy, and so there's so many lighthearted moments as well, and yeah. I just thought it was a
Worth it.
powerful piece of writing.
The heartache was worth it.
Oh, the
I don't
heartache.
have triggers. I've got 6 kids. Nothing phases me. Nothing.
It's funny we're talking about Manacled, where my book is nothing like
I know,
that.
because like anti-manacle.
No,
I
we
think-
went
I thi-
for
I
the
think-
Harry Potter side though.
I think when you need something lighter but still Harry Potter and still modern romance with yearning, then you go read Madly Deeply Always.
I
There
love
you
it.
go. There's the plug right there. I completely agree with that. Now,
That's
do
it.
you have a work in progress right now? Like, is there something you're writing?
Yeah, so I'm writing book 2. So the sequel to this one. I'm
Yes.
designing the cover. Without spoiling too much, but there'll be some Irish tavern or Irish pub
Oh.
elements to it. Um,
on.
I'm trying not to make it too cluttered. There's so much I want to incorporate. There will be a broomstick. There will be a broomstick. A flying
Ooh.
broomstick. So
My mind
excited for
keeps going
that.
to dirty places.
Stacey, take
But
it up.
but if you but you'll know once you know you two have read Madly Deeply Always. Readers will know once they get to the end that there is a twist involving Eleanor that is quite shocking. That I want to reassure readers who have wondered, it doesn't upset the rest of the story, but it's a twist that yeah, it's even when I read it, I just get my heart aches and like in a good way, in like a, well, I want to read the next book, so I have to write it now. But yeah, a crazy twist. And I'm actually writing Eleanor's book, sequel to this, which for the first quarter of that book, it does cover the events of Madly Deeply Always, but not in a rehash kind of way, but in a, you get
Okay.
to see what Eleanor goes through at the start of this book, and you get to see some scenes from her point of view and just see what was going on through her mind, and also the meet cute between her and Sean, and what he
Promise?
thinks of her, when she waltzes into his pub for the first time. So that was
Nice.
a
I can't
very,
wait for
very
that.
fun scene. And
Does it
so
have a
that
working title? Have you
yes,
given it a title yet?
it's called Fiercely, Gently Ours.
I'm excited.
But I have book 3 planned as well. Book 3 will involve Sean's sisters, half sisters, Elizabeth and Jane Bennett. You might recognize the names. And that
Seeing
takes
a
place.
seeing a theme?
Funny, that one is inspired by Hermione because Mr. Darcy, I won't call him Mr. Darcy, but our Mr. Darcy is basically Draco Malfoy, living in who has inherited a castle mansion, but
Okay.
it's heavily in debt. And so in order to be able to afford the repairs and to keep it, he needs to follow his friend Bigley's advice and turn it into a medieval theme park,
Ooh.
which
And when is
which,
okay, so
he's
when's
not
book
happy
2 due
about.
out?
So book 2 isn't
When
out yet, but I have there will be at least 3 books in this series. So book 2 will be still Sense and Sensibility inspired, following Eleanor and Sean, but we will meet the side characters and we'll get to hear about Elizabeth complaining about her boss Darcy briefly. But we won't explore their story until book 3. But that one will be called Reluctantly Ardently Ours.
I
Dang. So
love
we're going to
it.
be
And
reading
when
for
is
years
the
to
rough
come.
timeline on book releases? So when do you anticipate book 2 coming out?
Book 2 is coming
Just
out in
roughly.
November.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on
I
Amazon
can deal
now.
with that.
I've got a working cover there now with the title is done, but I haven't drawn in all the elements yet. I'm waiting until I write more of the story to finalize the cover, and then I'll do a cover reveal on my newsletter and eventually on Instagram. And book
Perfect.
3 will be early next year. So even though I'm giving myself more time for this book, the book after that will come quite quickly, probably around March next year.
Oh, happy birthday to
Excellent.
me.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Your birthday's in March?
Incredible.
It is, yeah.
What's the date?
The 30th.
I will aim for the 30th. That gives me plenty of time in that month.
Oh my
Okay,
god, that'd
crazy.
be amazing.
Or you can be
Try not to
an arc reader again.
I would
try not
absolutely
to
love to be your arc reader for the rest of your life.
Yes, yes. We'll sign the
That's
contract in
incredible.
blood.
Where's the pen? No, wait, I got scissors.
No, you need a quill.
Hey,
Like
hey,
sharp
hey.
quill. Sorry, Stace. You can be in on it too, Stace.
They're dull as
I'm
shit,
But
but
you
so
they're
in.
kid
I'm
But you
scissors.
can't
so
be in
in.
Gryffindor. You can't be in Gryffindor for doing this.
Fine, I will move houses. I'll do it.
Yeah, baby.
I'll do it. So where can readers buy your books and where can they find you on your social medias? Because I think it's important for them to know that.
Okay, well, I am on Instagram. I am author Jules Starbrook. I think you'll be tagging me in some of these videos. They
For
can
sure. Well,
find a link to my to my website, my landing page there through my Instagram. The address, though, is beacons.ai/Jules Starbrook. I don't use AI for any of my works, but that's just the best landing page website by far that I've found. I used to use Linktree, but it's beacons, beacons.ai/Jules Starbrook. And you can find links to everything there, including my Kickstarter, my newsletter, and my books. Madly, Deeply, Always is out, so is the prequel. And I also have, for fans of Colonel Brennan and Marianne, I have on a link to my story After the Rain, which is on AO3. It is a fan fiction based on Sense and Sensibility, the film with Alan Rickman and Kate Winslet. So if you wanted to actually read about the slow burn romance, it doesn't rehash anything else. It starts off after Marianne is rescued from the rain, and it follows that and goes all the way to their wedding, and readers have been enjoying that. So if you're interested in that aspect, then you can find that, but it's certainly written for those who have seen the film.
Oh, that's
Sloan.
cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And there's a link to my Kickstarter as well, and so you can check it out.
Yeah,
Oh, we
well,
will
we'll
be.
definitely
Join the
be
fun.
plugging that. I think that's very important. Yeah, I certainly will be. I'm really intrigued. I know Jason would definitely be having a look too.
Yes, I will.
We had such a fun time reading your book and talking to you today, Jules. I'm so glad we got to connect with you. JC has been fangirling like ever since you first started reading your book. She has been like, Stace. And she was right. And she's never usually steers me wrong, but your book was absolutely phenomenal. I enjoyed every second. So thank you for
Thank you
coming on
so
and
much.
joining us today.
Thank you both so much. It's been so lovely to be on here. Really appreciate it.
Yay. So happy to be your first podcast.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's a milestone.
It is.
But guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, and I know you will have, you should definitely be looking into Jules and her books and following her on her social medias, buying her book. Talk to us in the comments when you've grabbed a copy, and you can thank us kindly that you have been introduced to an amazing author. Yeah, look at those things.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
look. Okay. Telling you right now, you will not be sorry. I don't know about Jace, but I gave it 4.5 stars.
I gave it 5, guys.
You gave it 5.
Thank
You know what I'm
Thank
like?
you.
You know what I'm like, though. Guys, we hope that you have the reading week that you deserve, and we will catch you next week. Thanks again for coming on, Jules, and we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. Love it. Thank you.
Bye,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Take care, readers.